Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Alicia and today I'm gonna talk about all the books that I read during Crave-a-thon. I have not done any kind of video for that, so you may have seen throughout my videos that I did the rolls during the week to see which books I would read and which prompts I would get. Now I'm just going to take all of those books and talk about them here. I'll tell you if I read them, if I haven't read them, which prompt they fulfilled, and so forth. So let's get started with those. So I do have my little book journal here and I wrote down all of the prompts and the books that we had, but I do also have the books here, most of them, so that I can hold them up and talk about them. The first roll that we did in Crave-a-thon, I landed on the werewolf prompts, and this book actually fulfilled 2 prompts, and that was to read a book with moon or stars on the cover and read a book with a shapeshifter. For that one, I chose Dead to the World by Charlaine Harris. This is the 4th book in the Sookie Stackhouse series, so we did read this one. So next is, I believe, Dead as a Doornail. That's book 5. I have to read that one, but we did finish this one for Crave-a-thon. I believe this will be in one of the lightning rounds of book reviews coming, or I may have already posted it. Check out the video list. If I already posted it, I'll have a link in the description. Moving on, and I switched books here. The next one was also a werewolf prompt, can you believe it? And I fulfilled that one with read a book with silver on the cover. And for that one, it was really simple. I just did Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. I don't know how well you can see it, but the word Belladonna is in silver, so I counted it. And that's where I went with it because it is kind of shiny, silvery, and I wanted to read it. This one I did read. I believe this will be in one of the lightning rounds if I have not already done a review. If I have, again, links in the description. But I really enjoyed this one, so if I haven't done a review, I most likely will. Moving on, this was roll number 2. So roll number 3, we landed on a vampire spot. And this next book fulfilled 2 prompts. And that was prompt number 2 was read about vampires, and then prompt number 3 was to read a book with a red cover. For that one, I chose Vamped by Lucienne. It's a very short read, but lately I have been reading like the physical book with the audiobook, and surprisingly I couldn't find an audiobook for this one, so I have not read this one yet. But I am getting caught up on some of my previous reads, so this one will be read here shortly. It will be read before the end of the year, but I did not get to this one for Crave-a-thon, but it did fulfill 2 prompts under the Vampire Court. The next roll we had, and it was, we landed on another werewolf court. This one was for a prompt of reading a book in one sitting. I do have a lot of books. You can see like the Hardy Boys and the Nancy Drews behind me. Quite small. I could probably read them in one sitting. But this one I chose to read because I thought it was the beginning point. I chose Cruel Crown by Victoria Aveyard. I heard that you have to read this one before you read Red Queen, but I was sadly mistaken and also corrected. So thank you to Hope for sending me the list of proper reading order for this one, because this is not the first book. So we will be trading this one out and I won't be able to fulfill that werewolf prompt of Cruel Crown, read a book in one sitting. So I may choose a different book. I did have some other options, but either way, this will be read at some point, but I will have to choose a different book to read in one sitting. But this was my initial pick, and I started to read it, got confused, and then stopped, and then found out promptly that I was reading it wrong. Reading it in the wrong order. So, we will put this one down, start with Red Queen, and go from there. Next was roll number 5, and I will have a picture somewhere on either side of me of this one because it was a god/demigod prompt of read a borrowed book. And I read If We Were Villains by ML Rio. Again, I will have a picture somewhere on the screen. That was also a book club pick for which one? Reading by Candlelight. So, again, I will have a picture somewhere. That will also be in one of my book review lightning rounds, I believe. So, look forward to that. The next one, roll number 6, this one was for the Witch Court. We were able to fulfill 2 prompts with this book. It was read a book featuring witches, and also for the prompt, read a book with a purple cover. For that one, I went with The Witch and the Vampire because it has witches in it. And if you look closely at the cover, there are purple flowers throughout. So I counted it and we went with this one. I have not read this one yet, but I did just get the audiobook for it. So it will be read either the tail end of August or beginning of September. Because I haven't picked my September TBR yet. So I might just move it forward. But The Witch and the Vampire by Francesca Flores was for the Witch Court. Roll number 7 was also a god and demigod court. For this one, I was able to fulfill 2 prompts, and it was read a book about gods or goddesses and read a book with chaos in the title. You may have already seen this one in one of my videos, but we went with The Chaos of Stars by Kiersten White. This one is actually about Egyptian gods and goddesses. Again, it was an interesting read. I will talk more about this one later, but this fulfilled the 2 prompts for the god and demigod prompt. So we did read this one. I think it's under 300 pages. Let me take a quick look. 277. So there you go. Quick read. Now, the last and final book roll prompt thing that I had for Crave-a-thon. The game board did not like me very much. Did not give me a wide variety of different courts and different prompts. We very much liked the werewolf prompt and court this time around. So again, the final book was for werewolves, and we basically did all remaining prompts. We had 2 self-care prompts. One was to like pamper yourself, so I took a nice bubble bath, and the other prompt was to kind of like declutter or organize something. I ended up organizing my closet a little bit, so you won't see that, but I promise you I did do it. And it was after I got my neck brace off. And then the final book prompt was you had to go up against the alpha, and that was choose an intimidating book to you. Here's my intimidating book. A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. This is very much my most intimidated book on my TBR. On my shelves, period. We're still intimidated by it because I have not read it yet. I will read it before the end of the year, but I was gonna try to like just, like a band-aid, just rip it off and read it. Nah, we didn't. We're still intimidated by the sheer volume and size of the font. So we're gonna finish out August with romance books and whatever I have left on my August TBR, and then we will go from there. We'll try to fit this one into September so we can just get it done, get it written. But those are all of the books that I had for the Crave-a-thon. Out of the 8 prompts and 8 books, I would say half. No. Yeah, about half, because I read these 3. And then you would have to put If We Were Villains on top of this. So I read 4 out of the 8, which isn't bad. I could tell you that I attempted to read this one, but then we found out it was in the wrong order. So should I even count it? Probably not, because I have to replace that book. So we're gonna go with, we read half. Just picture the other book on top here. We read half of the Crave-a-thon books, and I'm okay with that, considering my circumstances and where I was at while doing this Crave-a-thon. I had a really good time choosing the books and seeing where the board had me land, and I hope to do this again in the future. I don't know how Hope and Clint did. I know Hope did it. I don't know if Clint did it or not. He may have stepped down or stepped back from that one, which is okay. It's fine. But I had a lot of fun. I hope to do this again. I will try to figure out a way to make it a little more interesting. But this was just the first round, and I think it went pretty well. It was pretty simple, pretty laid back, and yeah, I can't think of anything else to say other than I had fun. I got half the books read. I hope to do it again in the future, and we'll leave it at that for now. Well, that's all for me in this video, guys. If you liked this video and would like to see more, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!